Jimmy Phelan came to be the head coach of the Huskies. Coach Phelan had many successful years.
Corner of the end zone where Mark Patterson makes the catch with just 34 seconds to go.
Polk right side. Yes! Chris Polk into the end zone. Touchdown, Washington!
For the first time since 1985, we've got the lights on here at Husky Stadium to play an evening game.
In a rare night game at Husky Stadium, the Nebraska Cornhuskers storm in seeking revenge.
Washington, of course, had gone into Lincoln the previous year during the national championship season and beaten Nebraska there. And could they do it again?
There was a lot riding on it. We had to prove ourselves again.
Everybody in the nation is going to be sitting watching this game. Everybody.
Nebraska's running game was never more powerful. 2,300 yards rushing the previous season, and the Huskies knew as they stepped onto the field, this game would be one of the biggest battles in college football.
It's comparable to playing to Michigan in a Rose Bowl, very honestly. It's that sort of an honor and respect that you have for their program, and you know that they can win the game just as easily as you can.
We knew we could beat them. We'd beat them the year before back there, and we were carrying great confidence. And really, football is a game of confidence, but it's group confidence, and that's what causes the electricity in the locker room. That's what makes it so special.
That was a lot of fun. I can remember lights coming in on big trucks and setting them up outside the stadium, and I think we practiced even under them one day, and it was just so cool to be in that stadium at night.
So you have two similar types of coaches with Don James and Tom Osborne. Stoic type personalities, organizational skills, guys that never see lose their composure. And knowing that Nebraska wanted to come in and get revenge was our motivation. And then also a national spotlight, nationally televised game was something that we knew we had to get ready.
I remember from the start, I remember how loud it was. I remember going up and hitting the center on the first play and getting a good lick on them and letting them know it's going to be just like last year and welcome them to Seattle.
So Billy Joe Hobart comes out in front of this crowd, a sellout crowd. Tye Center up behind, you see the lights. Strange feeling being here in Husky Stadium this late with the game just beginning.
On the first series of downs, the Huskies looked out of sync.
And a quick timeout by Billy Joe.
Almost unfathomable that you can come out in the first play of the game and see something you're not prepared for. Barry goes in motion. The Nebraska reaction, not what Hobart expected.
Don not thrilled about it at all. Grant is busy talking.
Nebraska's first possession is a struggle as well.
Option, nothing. DeMarco Farr was the first one in there along with Fontaine, Jamal Fontaine.
On the Huskies' second possession, the show gets rolling.
Billy Joe feels the heat, got a man, Bjornsson. Eric into Cornhusker territory down to the 43 and a first down. Will Height with the tackle, number 19, along with Steve Carmer, number 31.
And a few plays later, the Huskies are faced with a 4th and 1, but the drive stalls out on the Nebraska 32.
I don't know.
Good penetration by Nebraska on defense. Darius Turner unable to reach the line of scrimmage on the ground and cannot get off his feet to jump the pile.
On Nebraska's next possession, the crowd really gets into the game.
Backfield. Noise, nothing new to Nebraska. Oh my. Closing in, Jimmy Clifford, number 53.
It was loud. I remember it was really loud. And again, there's no. It wasn't only loud. It was loud for the whole game. It was make your eardrums bleed.
The volume of the crowd on this evening can in part be attributed to a superhero. By day, Barry Erickson is a marketing executive in Seattle, but during a Husky game, and for this one game, by night, Erickson becomes Captain Husky. He employs his own special brand of crowd control.
We started the skit with me as Joe college student walking into a phone booth, and then I came out unveiling this costume, and that was 26 years ago. The granddaddy of them all was the Nebraska night game In that first quarter that I had mentioned, that's 133.6 decibel levels, which when you think about it, that's pretty loud. We figured that we could get ourselves into the game by interrupting the audibles, by interrupting the silent counts. We got told by the officials that we can't yell and do spellouts on the third down plays throughout the rest of the game, because the first two series when Nebraska had the ball, we did spellouts during that third down series, and they got 2 false start penalties to start the game, and the referees actually told us that we couldn't do organized spells from that point forward, which got us even that much more incensed. So then we just yelled the rest of the game.
Noise, nothing new to Nebraska. Oh my.
And on 4th down, Nebraska rolls the dice.
He's faking it. Look out, Walter Bailey!
Miles Corrigan, the tight end coach, and Don James communicating with Mark Brunell. Now, exactly what we talked about earlier, Don. You see Hobart not happy.
Feeling some pain.
Nebraska holds the Huskies to a 3-and-out, and now it's the Cornhuskers from their own half-yard line.
They're going to throw!
No, they're not!
Tommy Smith for the safety.
I can remember Tommy Smith coming off the edge in a double crash and smacking their quarterback in the back of the head.
The Cornhuskers' next possession starts at their own 45.
A lot of time. Get him. Andy Mason. Along with DeMarco Farr.
The ball is on the ground.
And they're saying it's Husky ball. Another
Get
angle.
an end zone look at this fumble. You see Andy Mason pulling the arms out. The ball comes out right before Grant hits the ground. Andy Mason doesn't even know it's out. Thank goodness Shane Palcoa did.
I think in those situations, teams that come into Husky Stadium don't stand a chance, because our fans are emotional, they're passionate, they're loud, they care about their football team. The players know that they're playing a premier program in Nebraska, one that is nationally acclaimed, much more prominent than the University of Washington's ever been. Whether that's fair or not, it's just a fact. And so you're going to take it out on them, you know. And when you've got your crowd behind you and it's dark out and it's Husky Stadium, you win.
And after the turnover, the Huskies are on the attack.
As a man, Kralik, first down to the 20 and out of bounds at the 19. Tyrone Bird, the free safety, defending. 10. Bootleg. Got a man. Tight end, Bruener! I think it's down on the 1-yard line, yes.
And the Huskies have a 1st and goal.
3 receivers to the left side. Billy Joe trying to do it himself. Somebody's hurt, and it might be Billy Joe.
Travis Hill knew something had happened. Obviously an obvious injury.
Shoulder.
Yep.
Might be his right one. Mark Brunell, are you ready?
Miles Corrigan, the tight end coach, and Don James communicating with Mark Brunell. Now, exactly what we talked about earlier, Don. You see Hobart not happy.
Feeling some pain. Mark Brunell's here. And it is 2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. Dino. Touchdown. 12-14 remaining in the first half. And the Huskies are the first to break the ice in terms of TDs. Travis Hansen on the field, who is 7 for 7 and no wind whatsoever. Huskies move up 9-zip, and here it is again, the touchdown.
It's nice to have a senior back there. You see the penetration by Nebraska. Look at the intelligence of Bean O'Brien to push the ball over the line. Mark Bruener, one play, one touchdown. The Huskies lead 9-0.
Great actor. He was Dennis Rodman before his time, standing up, waving that number 1 in the air, like he caught that thing. So it's all part of it. Thank God there's no instant replay back then, but I got away with that one.
Well, evidently Billy Joe feels all right.
Looks like he has a full range of motion. You see Dennis Seeley, the head trainer for the University of Washington Athletic Department, checking out.
Look at the look on Billy's face. I'm okay. I'm okay, honest.
What Dennis is doing is forcing him to move his elbow and use his shoulder with the muscles going both ways and showing that, yes, indeed, it is okay.
3rd down and 3, and here comes the noise.
Down 9-0 now. Nebraska doesn't blink.
Lots of room for Calvin Jones. He could go all the way if he gets away from Bailey. He does. It's a foot race. Calvin Jones is gone. And that quick, Nebraska is right back in it. Remember what we talked about? They'll lull you to sleep, they'll run the offense, and then boom, they explode like they did there for a 73-yard touchdown. 2nd down and 11 for number 11.
Just before the half, Napoleon Kaufman does his thing and returns the favor.
Kaufman looking for room, could get by, down to the 20, to the 10, out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Kenny Wilhite, the cornerback, making the play. Oh, there's that speed.
My all-time favorite player is Napoleon Kaufman. He was here a few years ahead of me, and so I watched him when I was in high school and watched him just rip up Pac-10 opponents. And I always loved him because, you know, he reminded you of Barry Sanders, where he'd hide and then he'd just explode.
Coming in, a freshman, was my senior year. He was so fast, he was always tripping over his feet. Coach James wouldn't let him get spats anymore on his shoes. Couldn't tape his shoes because he's running out of his shoes. I'd never seen anything like it. And here, coming in freshman didn't get time like that. This guy was coming in and we were like pushing him back because we were so good. He'd get in the games at the end of the games, and everybody you'd see on the sidelines, defense and offense, we wanted to watch him because we knew at any moment he could take it to the house.
And then like Napoleon Kaufman, he was a teammate that was so electrifying and so amazingly fast that he himself could take over a game too.
From the 1.
Number 8 walked into the end zone, and the fans let him know what they thought of him.
Touchdown, Washington.
You don't think these guys know they're on nationally, do they?
Got the folks down in Lompoc, California watching, I'm sure.
It's got the folks in Husky Stadium doing more than watching. They're standing and applauding.
He would just find a way. It may not be the play, but he would find a way to get past the defense and score. He was a great running back here, and he did things differently, I think, than any running back that I can ever remember here.
Napoleon Kaufman was just getting started in this game against Nebraska. By the time he finished his career at the University of Washington, number 8 would be the all-time leader in rushing yards with 4,106 and touchdowns with 33.
1st and 10 now from their own 20.
In the final seconds before halftime, Nebraska gets greedy.
Got somebody there? No! Walter Bailey! Interception, Washington! On the 47 of Nebraska.
The Huskies try to cash in with the most controversial play of the game.
That's where he's looking, going deep. Kralik! Yes!
Joe Kralik caught a touchdown pass in the back of the end zone that to this day, I'm telling you, he dropped. He did not catch that ball.
Watch the catch by Joe Kralik. You see that right knee is on the ground. Does he have possession of the ball when the knee hits the ground? Take another look from this face-on angle.
No.
Questionable.
That was real close.
The official on the play signals touchdown.
And Billy Joe Hobart, I talked to him about a year ago. He actually said, yeah, I don't think that ball was good. And Joe says it was. You talk to Joe and he'll tell you, I caught that ball, but if you go back and watch the film, I think the ball hit the ground. He kind of rolls on it as he goes out of the back of the end zone, and there's no instant replay back then, so the referee signals touchdown, and the play's over.
What a great actor he was, Dennis Rodman, before his time, standing up, waving that number 1 in the air like he caught that thing. So that's all part of it. Thank God there's no instant replay back then, but I got away with that one.
And that's going to do it for the first.
At the end of the first half, a safety and 2 turnovers give the Huskies a 23-7 lead, but it is Nebraska after all, with a lot of football still to play.
The notion of Dave Niehaus, who I absolutely idolized, as we all did in the business at that time, calling into our show to talk about the Huskies and the Mariners, kind of put a really nice cap on that evening for us all.
Here's the pitch.
In the second half, with the Huskies leading 23-7, the Nebraska running game cranks it up and gets back on track.
The audible, visually you might say, by Grant. Brown trying to go to the other side. There's the seam again. Huskies need to wake up.
By the middle of the third quarter, the momentum is tipping Nebraska's way.
Grant looks like he's in. Let's see. No sign from the referee yet. And there it is. Touchdown, Nebraska. So the Cornhuskers march 80 yards just like that.
I was more concerned about the crowd, that they'd be so drunk by the time the game started that they wouldn't be their normally loud self, but the crowd was even louder.
To find out what the audible is all about. See the center turning back. Finally they have to call timeout because they run out of time.
Well, that was a game that I recall somebody, I think from ESPN, had a measuring device and measured decibels of the crowd noise. Was it the loudest ever? That's a subjective story, I guess at best, but it was loud to say the least.
On first down at 8, and since then, a little quiet. And another timeout by Nebraska. Driving Gosburn crazy. First and 10 again. Fumble! Husky ball! Oh, what a break!
The Dawgs capitalize on the turnover with a field goal.
Got the distance. It's good. Oh, that's a big one. 42-yard field goal, widening the lead.
Now 26-14, it's all downhill for the Huskies.
Darius Turner to the 16-yard line. Bjornsson. Oh my goodness, what a catch. Eric Bjornsson is becoming some kind of special wide receiver. Tyrone Bird defending number 8, and he is injured. What a catch by Bjornsson.
6'5", 215 pounds, and he can run a 4.5 40.
Oh.
He only gets credit for one catch, although it took him 2 tries.
Early in the fourth quarter, the Dawgs put the icing on the cake.
And it is. That's a big, big field goal. Now Nebraska must score 2 touchdowns, kick an extra point, and go for 2 in order to tie.
For us to win that game was like, wait a minute, we're nationally recognized now. Granted, national champions was great, but we split with Miami, so it's like this is our chance to really show that we're true champions individually as a team. So that was great.
And Don James just keeps the rhythm going on and on and on.
2 things happened on that night in September. The Huskies proved that they were a worthy national champion, and they would be a force to reckon with again in '92. And the fans got Husky Stadium nationally recognized as the loudest house in all of college football.
Good way to end the ball game. Huskies win number 17 in a row, and a very, very impressive victory over 12th-ranked Nebraska.
In the press box, you could actually feel the thing rocking.
Yeah.
That you can feel it in the press box when everybody starts rocking. You go, whoa, I'm glad they're going to tear down the south side and rebuild it, because I've worried about that for years.
Nebraska always travels incredibly well. They're always bringing between 8,000 and 10,000 fans a game with them. There were a ton of fans, ton of white and red in the stands that day, and the Huskies beat them again. And it was one of those days where you just go back and look and say, if there was ever any doubt about how good the Husky program was, if anybody tried to talk about the 91 game being a fluke, this game pretty much shut everybody up and settled all that talk once and for all.
We were doing a radio talk show afterward and taking phone calls and people talking about the Nebraska game. And our producer said, I've got Dave Niehaus on the phone. Yeah, I got Dave Niehaus on the phone. And the Mariners were playing that night and having a pretty good run. And Dave Niehaus was going home from that game and listening to our post-game show and just wanted to call in and say, I know you guys are having a great time out there, but don't forget about us. Which I think says a lot about the time and place here in Seattle. We had a really good game here tonight, but the notion of Dave Niehaus, who I absolutely idolized, as we all did in the business at that time, calling into our show to talk about the Huskies and the Mariners, kind of put a really nice cap on that evening for us all.
That night was so special, and I mean, it didn't end for me till about 4 o'clock in the morning.
The September 19th, 1992 game against Nebraska went down in the books as a big W for the University of Washington Huskies. And since it was played under the lights, these moments have lived on as a night to remember.
Next time on Greatest Moments at Husky Stadium. Stanford comes. Mariasa Sopo turns in a performance for the ages.
Is this guy going to really do something that nobody else has done in the history of college football? And the numbers just went up and up and up and up.